Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this morning. We got a great show lined up with special guests here in the studio. But first, our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. High today 71 and low 61. That's a pretty good day, looks like. And like I said yesterday, the rain is coming this weekend. Hopefully it'll just rain Saturday night and while we're all sleeping. And hopefully it'll work out that way. Water temperature dropped down to 62. It's still cool. It's supposed to be this time of year, and we won't see a warming trend for another month or so. River readings. The Apalachicola at Bluntstown it dropped. It was 20 yesterday. It's down to 18 today, and it's just pretty high. You can see on the chart there, the river's high. The Choctaw at Carabelle, again, right at 10 feet, about where it was yesterday, but starting a little bit of a drop on the Choctawhatchee. So we'll see what the rain does to it this weekend. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn, and we're working on a tide chart. We got to get a new one every January, and we're having a little bit of difficulty locating this one, but we'll get it soon, I promise. But trust me, the low tide this morning is going to be at 6 o'clock right now, and high tide will be at 7:45 tonight. All right, now wind direction will be coming east-southeast at about 14. January has been like a March with all this wind we've been having. I know we've all been talking about that. It's tough on the hunters and tough on the fishermen when we get this kind of wind, but it is what it is. Let's take our break and we'll be right back. Welcome back, and look who's on the show this morning, Captain Roy.
Good to see you, Coach.
It's great to have you back. We always like to have him on a regular basis. And don't come on much as used to, but still knows a lot of things. How you been doing?
I'm good for 85.
All right. That's great. And your house, you still got a little bit more to do on the house?
Yeah, we still got quite a bit more. Well, not quite a bit. We got the major thing. We're in there living. Now we got a place to live. And
yeah.
Thank the Lord for that. Because, for one silly reason, we didn't have any insurance. Canceled insurance the year before.
Mm.
Up there,
What do you think you happened
15, 16 miles from the coast, I think I'm 51 feet above sea level. And the insurance kept going up, and
yep.
We canceled it. Anyway.
So many people, and the same way, they thought they were safe. And really, how many times you going to get a Category 5 hurricane in your lifetime? No, it's just so.
The only people that had insurance around my area up there by Old George were people that had mortgages.
Right.
And had to carry them.
Yeah, it's been interesting. We're glad things are doing well, and we got 3 segments on the show. So we're going to talk about fishing, hunting, and then we got a special event tonight we're going to talk about on the last segment. So let's talk about one of the fishing first.
Speckled trout.
Speckled trout. You know anything about speckled trout fishing?
Winston, I guess I've done a lot of speckled trout, caught a lot of speckled trout, and I killed a lot of deer. And I've never been fishing on Sunday, but one time. That was when I was a kid. I went over to Burnt Mill Creek. And to the Bedgood, they were Indians that owned that fish camp over there. They had a son my age. And I slipped off after church over there one time and went fishing. I didn't tell Mom and Daddy about it. But I caught a lot of them. I never caught one of them on Sunday, and I'm not ashamed to say that. Now, while the speckled trout has been on a steady decline, and I'm tickled to pink to see that the FWC is finally doing something for them. While the speckled trout has been on decline, the redfish has been on the increase.
That's right.
And
there's a reason for that.
One of the things is the redfish have been more protected. Size limits and bag limits, and the speckled trout, on the other hand, he had I don't know, one time when I started fishing, there wasn't even a bag limit on speckled trout.
Yep.
And then they put 10 or 12 or something. So people is one of the things that's called speckled trout. Instead of fishing for them for the sport, they're fishing for the table. I tell people, I wish they'd go to the fish house and buy them the best fish. Anyway, people is one of the reasons that speckled trout's been on decline. And of course, we've got pollution in the bay, it seemed like it had a great effect on them, all the development, all the shorelines, all that we've lost. The wetlands that used to protect the bay, like the airport up there, 5,000 acres of wetland. And it seemed to affect the speckled trout more than it did any other fish. Flounder fishing is still pretty good in the West Bay, and redfish is increasing. I got some kin folks that charters over in Destin and Port Washington, and they say that redfish just is not any problem to catch redfish. Most of them are too large, but speckled trout. He asked me, said, Captain Roy, said, what's happened to the speckled trout? And I probably kind of tell them the same thing I'm telling you. They've been on decline. People caught too many of them. We had the wetlands that destroyed a lot of that had a big effect on them, I think, when it was destroyed. It didn't affect the redfish, flounders, and mullet. But mullet fishing is still good. And again, the FWC did not have the same restrictions on speckled trout they had on redfish. And I remember we didn't have redfish. They closed them back in the 80s for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years.
Right.
When those things, when they got so thick that you got speckled trout fish for them. All this has had a big effect on the speckled trout, and I'm glad to see now.
Yeah, it's going to be closed now for the month of February up here in Panhandle. It'll be closed. And
then you got some real restrictions on the size limit. Yeah. I'm not going to go. You look up if you don't want to know anything.
Yeah, we've gone over, so everybody knows that. We're going to go over it again too, probably in March. When March kicks back off, a lot of people are going back. Right now, you still can go, but most people are in the woods hunting and all. There's a few fishermen out there, but yeah. I know back in the days in West Bay, y'all caught a bunch of them.
Yeah, we did. I started guiding people fishing when I was going to grade school up there in West Bay. I don't know, 9, 10, 11 years old, and. We fished with cut bait and back
Did you see, in your lifetime, you started in West Bay, but then you fished the whole bay system.
Right.
And you look back over the last, 70, 80 years that you fished, where were the biggest concentrations in your lifetime?
I like to fish Sandy Creek.
Okay.
Now, West Bay, of course, where I come up, I fished it some. The reason I like to go to Sandy Creek because I had so many choices. And when you take somebody fishing, you got two main challenges to have. First thing, you got to catch fish, and the second thing, you got to watch out after safety. Well, in Sandy Creek, you had the creek in the wintertime especially, and then you could go up the intercoastal waterways. You had lakes and bayou across it, had those bayous you could fish in, and that was one of my favorite places to fish.
Over in West Bay, did you like going up that intercoastal in West Bay?
Very little.
You didn't go that well?
No, usually in the wintertime, and I like to hunt in the wintertime.
Yeah.
My dad just said he didn't like to fish in the shade or sweat on his gun. So about the same.
That's wintertime and summertime.
I believe maybe
if you were going to go speckled trout fishing this weekend, you'd go probably Sandy Creek, probably.
Probably. Now, you said the water temperature is down to 62.
62, yeah.
Anytime that the water temperature gets below 65, you can look for them to be up in the fresh water, and they'll be in the deeper holes. I've heard a lot of reasons why they go into fresh water. I think my explanation is about as good as anybody. Speckled trout's a weak fish, and he can't stand salt. And so he'll go up into the fresh water. Look for them up the creeks, and fish slow with your bait. Whatever you fishing with, they don't want to fight. They'll pop in bait or anything, and you got to fish it slow.
Fish it slow.
Fish it slow.
All right, that takes care of it. We're going to talk more about fishing, but we'll come back and talk a little bit about hunting and then that special event tonight. So let's take a break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, folks. We're glad you're here with Captain Roy. We're working on some technical things now. We're talking about you're an avid hunter just as you're a fisherman, and what about your hunting situation?
Well, if you want to call it what my hunting has got to, I started deer hunting, I think, when I was 5 years old, and the only deer we had in this country, or the closest deer, was Eglin Field. And that's where we had to go hunting. That's where I killed my first
People
deer.
don't realize there were not any deer here, but it was it's hard to believe. But
I'll tell you how the deer got here. Some group of men from West Bay and Port Washington wanted to get some deer put in this area, and there was no deer here. There was a stock law, and people was using the wood for their hogs and their cows, and they didn't want it closed. And we had a time getting it closed, but we finally got it closed, and the club bought 12 deer from King's Ranch in Texas. Now the Game and Freshwater Fish Commission, they trapped deer from Eglin Field and brought them over there, and they went back. The biologist told me that he caught the same buck in the same trap a month after they turned him loose. Still Phil.
yeah, it came back.
Caught him back over.
Came back. Yeah.
But we bought 12 of those deer, and believe it or not, the deer in this country, in this part of the country, came from those 12 deer. I started to bring one mount I had about 10 years after it was, the deer was put in there. I killed one of those original bucks, and he had a tag in his ear, and he's a grandpappy of a lot of these deer that people are hunting now and enjoy.
A good DNA. He had a good.
Yeah. Now, don't matter the rut. We are coming into the rut. Actually, I agree with my friend Ronnie Groom. Ronnie said, and I agree with him, he said, the only thing you do when you go to your deer stand right now is spook the bucks away, make them come back at night, because they're not falling to does. Now, sooner or later, they'll start falling those does when the rut starts. But I haven't seen a buck. See plenty of does, and I enjoy it. I go up there and I get my deer stand. I got a heater in there. I put me on some coffee, a can of soup, and I've got winners in my stand.
You're roughing it.
Yeah, so my feeders are down there about 200 yards from me, and I enjoy going. Like I said, I get up there and I don't worry about anything. I don't worry about the bills.
That's the feeling you get in the outdoor. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's why we try to get over people who are non-outdoorsmen. It's such a wonderful, relaxing feeling.
You know, and this is something I want to emphasize. There's two people out there in the woods. One of them is a man with a gun, and there's some awesome hunters. That man with a gun, he'll shoot anything you see, especially if it's legal spikes and so forth. Yeah. Let them little deer run.
Yeah.
And let them go. They won't get big. People say, well, if I don't shoot them, somebody else will. That's one of the excuses. Just let them go. The rut's coming in soon. They're now making old bucks. They make a scrape and make a air to attract does to it. Every one of them bucks has got a route he takes. He's checking every day or night. He'll check that, and does come there. And if they get ready, they'll leave their scent there, and then he'll track them down. And that's coming. The last 2 weeks in January, the first 2 weeks in February, to me, is the prime time. Now they rut all year because you find your earlings is half grown when the season comes in, and there's no ain't coming right now to find one with spots on him.
This is sort of the peak of it this time, but they do all during the year.
Right.
Yeah.
So, 2 years in a row, I killed a buck on Valentine's Day.
Oh, is that right?
And with does.
Yeah.
So that's the prime time. But we got something else in the woods, as mentioned. Axis deer.
Now, Axis deer, that's right. Go ahead. Cool.
I was coming home from the land the other day, my son and I, and we turned off of Highway 20 onto Blue Springs Road. And about a quarter of a mile down there was 5 Axis deer feeding in a man's yard. 5? 5 of them. We got by me. Kenny asked me, he said, Dad, was those deer real? I said, let's go back.
Real?
We turned and went back, and they were actually feeding on, looked like they had planted some winter ryegrass or something that they were feeding on.
We got a picture here. A lot of people don't understand what an Axis deer is. It's not a native deer. They look like spots all over them. And this is a picture right here, and you see.
Do not shoot him.
Yeah, or her.
Now, back in the last part of July or first part maybe of August, I don't remember, we found, I was going to my land, and on the south side of Porch Pond, there was a big buck standing in the road. And he didn't run the car too much. And I stopped, and he looked at us a little bit, and then he went and jumped the fence. And what really made me see something peculiar about him was that his horns were mature. They didn't have velvet. Mm-hmm. Normally, our deer in summertime, it has got the velvet on. Big, I asked where they come from. I'm trying to find out. That I understand that the Patronuses is on about a section of land up there. They probably had a bunch of them.
It's on the fence. There's several fenced-in areas where the hurricane knocked the fence down. And about a month ago, we had one of the folks we know, Grover Davis' little place. They cut the fence and shot him. Yeah, and that's a shame. And rewards are offered and all. They don't need to shoot these deer. You see, like a big buck like this one right here now. Yeah. They have a good lifespan, and they can. And it's only a matter of time before they sort of mix in with our local. It's going to be interesting to see what the mix is when they get together.
I don't believe it will.
I guess it'll be half of it be spots and half of it be regular.
There probably one day will be a season on it. There's not now. He's an antique deer.
Yeah.
And it's
Okay. All right. Well, that takes care of it. We got anything else on hunting? We got to. We'll take a break and then we'll come right back. All right, welcome back, folks. Sitting here with our honored guest this morning, Captain Roy Ray. Always glad to have him on the show. Let's take a look at our fishing game time brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers. We're looking at 10:48 to 12:48, and tonight from 11:18 to 1:18. So right there in the middle of the day and right around midnight. Captain Roy, I'm gonna let you help me out on this. We got to add some names to the pickle jar.
Wow.
We got to do this every day. So we'll go through it. Listen for your name now. James Franklin. Okay, Braden Harris, Youngstown. Michael Harris, Youngstown. Looking at Terry Sidney. All right, Sandy Fagg from Lynn Haven. We're looking at Alexa Barron from Springfield and Tess Barron from Springfield. Denise Warner from Bayou George. Mark Calhoun. Looking at Gene Bigger and Bob Bigger from Deer Point Lake. William Jones and Carson Hathaway from Fountain. Williams from Alpha. Martha Williams, Alpha up there. Richard Barron, Springfield. Arisha Dutton, Deer Point Lake. Tom Martin, Bayou George. Donna Baxter from Bonifay. Lynn Haven has Travis Fagg. We're looking at, is that just one there? Crystal Melvin from Fountain. Johnny Harris, Youngstown. Darlene Harris, Youngstown. Sandy Sidney. David Gilmore, Kim Condon from Santa Rosa Beach, and there's two here. Mark Condon, Santa Rosa. Like I said, I have David there, Gilmore, and then we're looking at Charles Michael from Fountain. We've got a lot of folks up in Fountain, Youngstown. Wanda Miller, Margie Gilmore from Fountain again. Christina Johnson, we're glad to have y'all. Amber Melvin from Fountain, and from Wausau, Cynthia Clark and David Spence from Wausau. All right, and keep them coming, folks. We'll be drawing tomorrow. Special event tonight, so let's talk about that. What's going on tonight?
Believe it or not, the world famous, old-timey truck wagon gang is going to be at Carr Advent Christian Church tonight.
Okay.
Now, let's tell you a little bit. I better tell them how to get there.
Okay.
To go to the church, you go to if you go from here, you go to Clarksville, and the church is located about 3 miles north of Clarksville on Highway 73. Carr Advent Christian Chapel. You can't miss it. Let's talk about these folks just a little bit. You know, the lady on the left there, she is one of the original Carter family that started the truck wagon gang back in 1935. I'm the same age as the truck wagon gang.
All right.
And I listened to them all my life, Winston. I probably you have too, and never dreamed that I'd have a part in their life. But I went on a cruise with them and kind of befriended them, and they are right now they're number one on the bill charts in the gospel
and bluegrass
gospel. Yeah, they're number one, and George Newsom, he's kind of that Advent Christian Church up there. That's his life, and he told me one day he said, I want you, you had befriended this chuck wagon gang. By the way, they travel all over the world, and they've got a fan club they call the Chuckies. Well, I joined, I'm a Chucky.
Okay.
And when the gang are in their area, they sponsor them and advertise for them, and so I guess that's how I come in with the chuck wagon gang. But I did befriend them, and they will be there, and they're going to be at 7 o'clock now. And I think they got some refreshments, maybe after or something. But you'll have a chance to go there and mingle with them, talk to them. They're great people, and you'll enjoy them, not only singing. And they have got one of what put them on the billboard was I'm about to run out of time here now.
Yeah, we got about a minute. So.
Got about a minute, and you'll enjoy them. And then I'm bartering. Me and Coach and I are bartering. I told him I'd come on the show and advertise Chuck Wagon Gang. He in turn is going to be at the Sing tonight.
We're going to sure try to be there. I'm about 99%. My history, I have gospel music in my background. My mother sang it. One day I'm going to tell you this gospel music story of my lifetime, but I love old gospel music, and they're originals.
Yeah, I meant to print this number, but if you got more information, if you look me up, let me give it to you, 832-1798, 832-1798. For more information, you give me a call, and but I think you've let me be on the show.
Oh, we're glad you came on. I have an open invitation, and we had fishing, hunting, and then a special event tonight.
How many years have you been on here?
We're going in our 15th year.
15th year. I was with you 5.5 years.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So we're blessed to have all this, and like I say, I hope to see y'all up in Calhoun County, right there north of Clarksville tonight, 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. 7
o'clock, and it's going to be it'll be a relaxing night. It's sort of hard for me to stay out late at night because I got to get up early in the morning, but we're going to try to run up there.
Be your chance to see the Chuck Wagon Gang. You may not get another one.
That's right. That's great. Thank you, Roy.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, we'll see you a little bit later. Thank you all for watching Panhandle Outdoors, and you see our heritage and our history and our culture is right here on Panhandle Outdoors. Do something good today for your fellow man. Have a great day. Enjoy our Panhandle Outdoors.
Yes.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.